Hello everyone, welcome to our training session on IBM FlashSystem. Today we will delve into the features and functionalities of this advanced storage solution to help you gain a basic understanding of the product. One of the standout aspects of the IBM FlashSystem family is its consistent user interface across all models, whether it's the FlashSystem 5000 series, 7000 series or 9000 series. This uniformity makes it easier to navigate and manage the system effectively. For this session, we will be using the IBM FlashSystem 5200 model to explore its GUI features and demonstrate its capabilities. Let's get started. The IBM FlashSystem can be accessed via browser for GUI access on port 443 and via PuTTY for CLI access on port 22. Exploring the GUI, we start by entering the IP address or DNS name of the storage system in the web browser. This will load the dashboard page. On the top left, it shows the model number, machine type, and this is IBM Flash System 5200. Then what name you have given to the system, the namespace of the system. Then it shows you are on which page, you are on dashboard page. Then on the top right, you have this event section or event icon. You click on this, you get three options. One is view all events. It will take you to the page where it will show you all the events, whether they are fixed, they are open, what all actions or what all events exist on the system. You can directly go from here. Then active events are listed there. You can view the details of particular active event. The second option is background task. If there is any background task, for example, I'm formatting a disk or I'm migrating a disk. If that background task take a longer time, then that background task will appear here. If there is no background task, it will not appear here. For example, I'm doing a copy vdisk. So copy vdisk is something that will take some time to complete. So that copy vdisk action will appear here. Those actions which are taking some time, they will appear here in the background task section. This is about the help. Then this shows you which user is logged in. You are logged in as a local user, you are logged in as a remote user. It also gives you an option to log out, modify your password, manage your public keys. You cannot manage your private key from the GUI, you can manage only your public key in the GUI. Change language settings and suggested actions, like in case if there is any setting that is advised by system, it will appear here. For example, here, if I go for suggested actions, it shows me there is nothing as of now on the system. In order to use the system, I should create a host, I should create a volume, I should provision the volumes. So all those things appear here. Configure remote support, create volumes, create host. The GUI is divided into two panels, left panel and right panel. The most of the IBM Flash System family products will show these 8 options in the left panel: dashboard, monitoring, tools, volumes, host, copy services, access, and settings. So first, let's talk about the dashboard. The dashboard, this is the main home page that you get when you access your IBM Flash System. On the dashboard view, you get the performance analytics. You can toggle this window as well. And there are two views. One is node comparison, other is system. So system will give you the overall system performance. So there are three parameters IBM Flash System is known for. One is the low latency, higher bandwidth, higher throughput. So you will get those things here. Latency parameter, like what is the latency value you are currently getting from the system, overall system performance. Then your bandwidth, throughput, and the CPU utilization. This is on the node level. Currently, this is a raw system. There is nothing created, so there is no stats that is collected, no utilization happening on the system. So nothing is appearing. So if this is a 8 node cluster, 2 node cluster, 4 node cluster, depending upon that, number of nodes will appear here, and the performance on the graph for those nodes will appear. This is the capacity section where it shows you the current capacity of your system, how much is the physical capacity. If there are drives which are not part of the pool or which are not added into the RAID, they will not appear here. This is the provision. So how much is provisioned? Since no volume has been created, nothing is provisioned. Then this shows you the capacity savings, how much saving you are making from the capacity. And there are two type of savings that you do. One is thin saving, other is compression saving. Let's say a user requested a 10 terabyte disk, but I provisioned a thin volume. So by default, thin is like 2% of the 10 terabyte. So the provisioning is like only 2%, 98% is currently your saving. If the user start writing data, based on the writing of the data, extents will be allocated and rest is still your saving. Then let's say user has written around 3 terabyte of data. That 3 terabyte got compressed and it used only 1.5 terabyte or 2 terabyte or 1 terabyte depending upon the type of data. Then your thin saving is 7 terabyte and your compression saving is around 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte depending upon how much compression is done. So there are two type of savings that you will get from your capacity. So those capacity savings will appear here in this section. Your provision capacity will appear here in this section, and the total capacity will appear here. Then this is the third section, which shows what is the code level of your system, the current code level of your system. For example, this one is at 8.5.0.9. If you want, we can upgrade this as well. Now, this shows the system health, overall health status, hardware components, logical health, and connectivity. Three perspective of health. So if there is a hardware failure, let's say there is a power supply failure, battery backup unit failure, boot drive disk failure, or storage disk failure, any component failure, my SFP is gone bad, the hard disk failure, power supply failure, battery backup unit failure, node canister failure, any hardware failure appear in the hardware components. So this shows you like what all hardwares are being monitored. Canisters, these are the node canisters. So currently this is one IO group. For example, even IBM FlashSystem FS7300 comes basics with one IO group. Minimum is one IO group, two node canisters. It can grow up to 8 node canister, 4 IO groups. So all your canisters will appear here in this section. There is currently no error, all are online. Control enclosures, two node canister make one control enclosure, or one control enclosure is having two node canisters. So this is number of control enclosures, number of IO groups, number of drives present in the system. So we get the count here, number of nodes present in the system. So this canisters and the nodes, they are same.
The fiber channel port section shows count of 24 ports. The IBM Flash System firmware version that introduced the support for the node port ID virtualization feature on the fiber channel ports is 8.5.0. So to enable or use NPIV, the system firmware port should be minimum at version 8.5.0.0 or higher. Your SAN switches and host site configuration should also support NPIV. In our lab scenario, there are two node canisters, and each node canister has one card of 4 ports. Thus, each port supports 3 NPIV addresses, and therefore total 24 ports count is visible here.
Then there are two USB ports, each node canister having one port. Enclosure batteries, two batteries are there. Power supply units, two power supply units are there to provide redundancy. Fan modules, the number of fan. Out of this, if any component fails, then this hardware component will show error. It will not be green. For example, it shows all online. It will not be green. There would be a warning status. There could be an error status depending upon the criticality of the situation. Logical components, your array that is being created from the physical drives, that is a logical component. So we have physical drives, we don't create or we don't add physical drives directly to the pool. We create an array, we apply a RAID on those physical drives, and that array or that RAID is converted into a mdisk or is referred as a mdisk. Mdisk is nothing but a managed disk. IO group, this is the control enclosure. So control enclosure is a physical entity, IO group is a logical entity for that. Pool. So once we create mdisk from the physical drive or from the external storage, in order to use that mdisk as a capacity to create volumes, we need pool. That space should be added into a pool. So pool is again a logical entity. It's a container. So we create an empty pool, and in that empty pool, we add space. Your connectivity components, your connectivity with IBM, call home support, that is there or not, it's configured or not, the replication between the two systems. There is one primary site, there is one secondary site, if configured.
The support assistance enables the technical expert service personnel to access the system through internet to analyze the problem and allows them to perform maintenance action and resolve the issue. So IBM service personnel can address configuration and performance issues, can collect support logs, can initiate software download and installation, and validate if the issue is resolved.
Okay, now coming back to the other options. For example, we can see in the hardware components how many drives are there. There are 6 drives. So the second option, the first option is the dashboard, which is the home option. When we access the GUI of our flash system, it will